Welcome back to the weekly Education Pulse. I'm Sami.
And I'm Tony. Each week we bring to you the latest updates shaping the international schools market worldwide.
In this episode, we'll cover school closures, expansions, acquisitions by major school groups, and we'll take a deep dive into ISC Research's brand new Global Market Overview report for 2025. And we begin with the news, where we're going to start in the UK, where Kingscourt School in Hampshire has announced it will close its doors after 30 years of operation.
Schools cited rising costs and falling enrolment as the key reasons behind the closure, and it's a stark reminder of those financial pressures of small independent schools, especially in this current climate.
Exactly. Unlike larger school groups with economies of scale, standalone schools often have limited room to maneuver when enrolment dips or costs surge, whether that's staff salaries, energy bills, or maintaining facilities.
We've seen this trend play out across the UK market. Competition is intense. International schools, larger independent schools, and even state funding options are all vying for parents and families, and obviously their students.
Yeah, for the local community, the closure means families will now be looking for alternative places and staff will be seeking new opportunities. So beyond that, it highlights a broader question about sustainability in the independent school sector.
Yeah, and while closures are never easy to report, they serve as an important signal as to what's happening in the market. They show us where the pinch points are and where schools may need to adapt their models to remain viable. And from the UK, we now move to Dubai, where the private education sector continues to expand at pace. Authorities have announced that there are 25 new private education institutions set to open this academic year.
Yeah, that includes 19 schools and 6 universities, a huge wave of provision coming online in just 1 year. And it shows the strength of demand in Dubai for both K-12 and higher education.
That's right. And Dubai's population growth, coupled with its push to be a global hub for business and innovation, is driving that expansion. Families continue to arrive, and many local parents also want international style schooling.
And what's striking is how Dubai balances supply and demand. On one hand, KHD has maintained strong regulatory frameworks and fee oversight. And on the other, new investors and school groups clearly see that there's still opportunity there.
It also speaks to the diversity of choice in the Emirate. Now, with more schools coming in, parents are able to select between different curricula, fee points, specialisms from British, American, IB, and Indian curricula.
Let's not forget the higher education angle. 6 new universities will further cement Dubai's role as a regional study destination, not just for local students, but also international ones who might otherwise have gone abroad.
So while other markets are seeing contraction or caution, Dubai is doubling down with another 25 institutions that will reshape education landscape within just a year.
And staying in Dubai, we're going to touch on one of the new schools that's going to be opening by Taaleem, which is one of the largest school operators in the Emirates. And they just announced the opening of Dubai British School Mira.
Yeah, this is Taaleem's 4th campus under the DBS brand, and it's designed to cater to the growing number of families in the Mira and the surrounding communities.
Yeah, the new school will follow the national curriculum for England and Wales and will offer a strong focus on extracurricular opportunities alongside academics. There's another signal of how established school groups are expanding into newer residential areas as the city grows.
Exactly, and we've seen this pattern across Dubai. As with new communities, as they're built, operators are quick to establish schools nearby to meet expected demand, and it's part of a broader trend of aligning school development with urban planning.
Yeah, for Taaleem, the DBS brand is a key pillar in its portfolio. It offers families a premium British education while positioning itself as relatively more affordable than some of the ultra premium international schools in Dubai.
And that balance is crucial for families who want quality and reputation, but also so many new schools opening, competitive pricing and location are really big deciding factors.
So with Dubai British School Mira, Taaleem is not only strengthening its presence, but also responding strategically to where the demand is emerging.
And the next big move is from Cognita. The global school group is expanding its footprint in the Middle East, entering Saudi, Oman, and Qatar.
Cognita already has a strong global presence in more than 100 schools in Europe, Asia, Latin America, and this expansion signals their intent to tap into the Gulf's fast-growing education markets.
Saudi Arabia, especially, the timing makes sense. Demand for international schooling is rising rapidly as the country pushes forward with its vision of 2030, attracting more expatriates and encouraging private sector growth.
Now, Oman and Qatar are smaller markets in comparison, but they still hold significant potential. Both countries are modernizing their education sectors and offering opportunities for school operators who can bring international standards.
What's interesting is Cognita isn't just buying into these markets. They're also looking at partnerships and collaborations with local stakeholders. And that's a smart way to navigate regulations and build community trust.
And underscores a trend we've been tracking: consolidation and global operators moving into new geographies. The Middle East is firmly on the radar for groups like Cognita, Anglia, and InspireEd.
So it isn't just about one group's growth, it's part of a broader wave of international schools groups competing for influence in the Gulf and beyond, with significant implications for both competition and fees, and of course, quality.
And from the Gulf to South America, where Anglia Education has announced that Trewhelas, if I got that right, school in Chile, has just joined its global family.
The school is a well-established bilingual school in Santiago, serving students from early years all the way through to high school, and it offers a mix of Chilean and international curricula with pathways to global universities.
Yeah, for Anglia, this is another step into strengthening its Latin American presence. They already have schools in Mexico, Colombia, which we announced in a previous episode. So adding Trewhelas broadens their footprint and reinforces their strategy of acquiring high reputation local schools.
And for the school community, being part of Anglia means access to international collaborations, partnerships like MIT and Juilliard, as well as opportunities for students to connect with peers across the global network.
Yeah, this move also reflects the rising demand from local families in Chile for bilingual and international education, especially families looking for global mobility for their children.
Once again, we're seeing that consolidation trend play out. Independent schools and international schools being integrated into larger groups, gaining stability and resources while the groups expand their reach in competitive markets. And now for our final news story of the week. Duke's Education has expanded its portfolio in Europe by welcoming Thames British School in Warsaw, Poland, into its family.
Yeah, Thames British School offers the full English national curriculum and the IB diploma program, serving a diverse student body from early years through to high school.
For Dukes, this acquisition extends their presence further in continental Europe. They've been steadily growing their network of schools, colleges, and nurseries, and adding a strong bilingual school in Poland is a strategic move.
Yeah, Poland, interesting enough, has been seeing an increase in demand for international schooling, both from expats and local families who want their children to have those globally recognized qualifications. And Warsaw, in particular, has become a hub for multinational companies, which drives demand for schools like Thames.
And as with other stories we've covered, it highlights the continuing trend of consolidation in the international school sector.
Yeah, for families, it often means access to broader extracurricular opportunities, international exchanges, and additional academic support that come with being part of a bigger group.
So this acquisition by Dukes isn't just a local story, it's just another example of how global international schools landscape is being reshaped by group expansion and investment.
And now for our deep dive this week, we're looking at the brand new Global Market Overview report published by ISC Research for 2025.
The report is the annual benchmark for international schools sector, and while we can't give everything away here, there are some fascinating trends worth highlighting.
Yeah, first, the scale of the market. As of July 2025, there are just over 15,000 English medium international schools worldwide, serving 7.6 million students and employing more than 700,000 teaching staff. So together, that's generating around $69 billion in annual tuition fee income.
And Asia remains the centre here. It accounts for almost 60% of the international schools and 2/3 of students enrolled globally. Countries like China, India, the UAE, Pakistan, and Indonesia dominate in terms of scale.
But the story isn't just about size. The report points to shifting demographics. While expats remain important, local families are increasingly driving demand, especially in mid-market and bilingual education. And that bilingual provision has grown by almost 20% in the past decade and now makes up over a third of all international schools.
And that ties into another big theme, consolidation. In some regions, we've now got a significant proportion of the schools that are part of a group. And more than half of future schools that are in development are affiliated with one. So groups like North Anglia ISP, Grupo SEB, and Beacon House are reshaping the sector through scale, branding, and operational efficiency.
And the report also flags the pressures schools are facing. So teacher retention remains one of the biggest challenges. Mobility and ambition attract staff, but also lead to shorter tenures. And schools are having to rethink how they support, develop, and keep teachers engaged.
And finally, geopolitics. Immigration policies, fee regulations, and even global political shifts are influencing where families go and how schools operate. From new visas in Asia to tightening quotas in Europe, regulation is shaping the market as much as parental demand.
So what's the takeaway? The market is still growing, but it's also maturing, becoming more complex, more diverse, and more strategically important for governments, investors, and school groups.
So that's your teaser. The global market overview is packed with data and insights across every region. If you want the full picture, the numbers, the trends, and the outlook, you'll need to get the full report from ISC Research. And that wraps up this week's Weekly Education Pulse.
Yeah, thanks for joining us as we explored the latest stories from school closures and new campuses to acquisitions across Europe and South America.
Plus, our deep dive into the global market overview, the essential report on the state of international school market.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss future episodes.
Let us know in the comments what trends you're seeing and in your part of the education sector.
Until next time, thanks for watching and see you soon.
See you soon.